Are you ready?
Cool picture. All right.
What do you guys want to talk about?
Let me talk to you.
Yeah!
It's showtime, folks!
Throwdown Nation, what is going on? We are live on a Monday evening. It is August 10th, 2026. We are rolling on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, and Twitch. It is episode 259 of The Throwdown. We are the community on the interwebs where we celebrate both the art and the sport of professional wrestling with a strong focus on the indies, bringing you engaging and in-depth conversations with the best and brightest on the indie scene worldwide. I'm your host, Matt, and today we are throwing down with a wrestler based in Chicago, but originating here in Atlanta. Also a relatively new dad. Welcome with me, the one, the only, the Savior, David Ali. How you doing?
I'm doing great. What an intro.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I try. And for those of you watching live, let me direct your attention to the ticker that's running on the bottom of the screen. That contains all, or at least most, of David's social media accounts along with mine. So do us a favor, if you aren't following or subscribed, take the time and go to each of our platforms and do so. It definitely helps both of us. And one final thing before we get started, I want to let everybody know if you have a question or comment, you can definitely put it in the chat. Or if you're feeling brave and want to actually ask your question or make your comment in person, I'm about to throw a QR code up on the screen.
Jeez.
And if you scan the QR code, it will let you actually log in audio only and ask your question or make your comment in person. So if you're feeling brave, go for it. The only thing we ask is that you mute any background audio and be at least reasonably civil in your conversation. So we'll go ahead and get started with the first and really the most obvious question, and that is, how long have you been wrestling?
I have been wrestling on the independents for 10 years now, going on 11.
Nice. Who actually trained you?
So I started out at WWA 4 in Atlanta with AR Fox. Yeah. On Fulton Industrial. And I trained with...
Yep. Man, it is hard to go wrong with Fox and that crew.
Man, tell me about it. Especially back in the day, man, like when we were just all just like really, really hungry cats. And I started from there, and I moved up to Nightmare Factory once they got themselves established, and those are my roots in the beginning there.
Nice. So, in the early stages of your wrestling training, what would you say was the most challenging aspect of professional wrestling for you to kind of wrap your mind and body around?
Oh man, there's so many things that go into what we do. It's incredible, and I realize it every week when I'm working with the younger people and working with the people who are trying to get trained at the ice pick. When when I'm going over things that I think are simple, and there's like all this nuance that goes into it in the explanation, and I realize, man, there's so much behind like what we do. It's incredible sometimes, but I think I don't know. I think the hardest thing for me to wrap my head around coming up was probably understanding the psychology of what it is we do. And I think that's for everybody for the most part, because when you think about wrestling or anything like that's a combat sport or anything that's combat related, you think about the combat aspects of it and not why they're doing the things that they're doing as far as the combat's concerned. And I think that was like the hardest thing I had to learn, and try to separate that from the physicality.
Right. And there is a big difference between the what and the why, like you said.
1,000%.
So, did you come to professional wrestling with a previous athletic or other type of martial arts background? Had you done other sports or any other type of combat sport?
I wish. I wish I did. The most that I came into wrestling with was I was in the ROTC for a while, and I did Cadet Challenge. So that involves a lot of things like shooting and like running in the woods and things like that. So a lot of physical aspects of different sports that are put inside the challenge, but not like basketball or like football or like wrestling or anything like that, or any kind of like combat background or anything. I was on the wrestling team briefly, but it hurt my leg doing Cadet Challenge. And I couldn't do like anything in high school. But I always tell people, if you do have some kind of background, please incorporate that.
Oh, for sure. So I'm presuming that you've been at least a fan of this stuff the majority of your life. Is that pretty accurate?
Yeah, pretty much. When people ask me like, what was it that got you into wrestling, I always end up saying that it's a lame answer, but it was always on in the background somewhere. Like, it was just, I don't know, wrestling has just always been a part of my life to some degree, and it would be really hard to imagine my life without it. It was just, it's always on. Like, I can remember things without having seen things, and it's incredible sometimes how the memory works.
Absolutely. I've been a fan since I was around 11, and I'll actually be 57 next month. So I've been following the business for 45 years. And the span of time that I've been a fan has just been so cool, because I've gotten to see a lot of things as they happened rather than retrospectively. I grew up in the territory days, got to see, the Monday Night Wars start to finish, the rise and fall of ECW, just so much cool stuff. And I've got to say, right now, with the indies and everything being what they are, right now is actually one of the most exciting times to be a fan that I can remember.
Oh yeah.
There's just so much good wrestling content out there now. It's hard to find time to consume it all.
Oh yeah, and especially with the advent of like social media and like different avenues of how to watch wrestling. I've only been in wrestling in the business for about 10 years, but like within that 10 years, just seeing like the progression of like how we're watching or studying wrestling, from YouTube to the WWE network to it being on platforms like Netflix or like IWTV for that matter. I remember Flow Slam, just having like these different variables and ways to watch wrestling. It's crazy. That just means that there's more and more people who are trying to consume the product.
Absolutely. You mentioned that it's really been a lifelong thing. Can you pinpoint an earliest wrestling?
Oh man, jeez, my earliest wrestling related memory. Man, I just remember I don't know how old I was. I had to have been I don't know. I had to have been in middle school or something, like maybe like fifth or sixth grade or something like that. I had these friends who lived next door. We were all kids and stuff, and we just moved to. My dad was in the military. He just retired. Mm-hmm. We just moved to like this place in Tennessee, in Chattanooga, and we unearthed this Super Nintendo, and it had WWF WrestleMania on it, and I remember playing that, and me and my friends would play that at home, and then we would just go outside and just start playing that outside in the yard, and didn't understand like wrestling at all. We were just those guys and just beating each other up. And I remember our parents being like so mad just because we're just beating each other up.
Yeah, well, that's what you do.
Right.
So you spent some time in Chattanooga.
Yeah. My parents were actually born in Chattanooga. They met there too. So my dad was in the Navy. I was born in Rhode Island while we were overseas, and we traveled. And once he retired, we ended up back in Chattanooga.
Gotcha. But the only reason I was bringing that up is I actually went to college up on Lookout Mountain, right there. Yeah.
Nice. What's the college called?
Oh, Covenant College. It's a small Christian college up on top of the mountain. But yeah, I mean, I spent 4 years in and around Chattanooga, so I know that town well. So
nice. So I take you've seen TWE. You've seen those shows, right?
Actually, at the time I was there, I don't think TWE existed, but I've actually had some. I've had some TWE folks on the show.
Nice.
So yeah, they seem to be a really solid promotion.
Nice. Yeah, they're really good. I relate JD Newman. He's a really good friend of mine.
Absolutely. So tell us a bit about your gym routine, and in your mind, what would you say are the most crucial exercise or group of exercises that you use to keep in ring shape?
So I find with this amount of time that I've been in the business that there's two really good ways to work out, because you want to work out to get ring shape, right? And you want to work out to look good cosmetically. And so I always stick to like a full body plan throughout the week. I try to work out before I became a father. I tried to work out like 4 days a week, full body. That way, like I'm not really like really straining like one part or the other, just keeping everything maintained. But I always got to get in the ring at least like once a week, because that's how I'm really going to maintain ring shape, because there's nothing in the gym or outside that can really mimic what it's like moving around inside the ring. So you gotta get that ring shape in there. So I'm always inside the ring like at least once a week for about like at least like maybe I would say like 8 hours a day almost.
Gotcha. So how is fatherhood treating you?
Man. Usually I do these things. I have like a little area out there where I do these things, and I have like a nice area where I have like all my belts that I currently have. There's nice little photos of me and my wife, but we're in here in what my wife has dubbed the fortress, where all my past history of wrestling goes, where all my entrance gear goes. So this is kind of like the shed. So we're in here because baby's loud.
Yep. Yes, they are. They are. But
Baby's cute, baby loud.
oh, for sure. But I'll tell you this much: as the father of a newly 17-year-old son who just entered his senior year in high school, soak it all in, because the days are long, but the years are short. So
I got to tell you, well, I don't know how many women are watching this, but I have found a new. I already thought that I was a type of feminist before, but I have a new respect for women after having seen my wife go through this whole process of having to deliver it one way, and then having to go through a C-section, and then like having to be up every other hour to feed our child. Like, it's, man, women go through a lot to make sure that we're able to just grow into a human being, man. It's simply incredible. I don't I don't do a lot at all, in my opinion. She says I do a lot by helping her get sleep, and thank God. But in my opinion, I'm just a glorified babysitter. I make sure he's okay, he's alive, but like, women are incredible creatures for just being able to do that, man. I'm just in awe, like, every day. It's incredible.
well, women are incredible creatures just for putting up with us, let alone dealing with babies and children. I mean,
That is true.
True.
That is true.
So, looking over at the Instagram chat, we've definitely got a few people hanging out with us. We've got 209 Loca from Northern California. She's actually going to be coming on at the end of the month. We're doing a Superfan Spotlight episode. So she's going to be coming on. And then we've actually got Devilish Kid Rose from the great state of Florida. He's a previous guest, and he is entertaining. I don't know if you've had any encounters with him, but yeah, he's a good dude. And then from the West Coast, we've got Naomi King, who is also a previous guest on the show.
Hey, nice.
So, we just heard a little bit about fatherhood and the baby. What's the story with you and Heather? How did you guys meet, and what's your story? Stories.
No matter what happens to me in wrestling, no matter where my career ends up, wrestling has given me my life, right? It's given me my child, and it's given me my wife. I met her at where's the poster at? It's right here. Championship Wrestling in Atlanta, about 5 years ago. And I actually thought she was somebody else. And I was actually telling one of my other friends to not talk to her because I thought she was somebody else. And here we are 5 years later. And man, I cannot thank Dave Marquez enough for booking us both on that show. Because if it was not for him, I would not have a son right now. And yeah, we met, and I think wow, I was about to make myself sound really crazy right there, but I've dated before in my past, but I think when you meet somebody and you know, and as cheesy and as trivial as that sounds, it's really, really true. And I think I knew from like the moment that we had an actual decent, honest conversation that that was somebody who I wanted to make a life work with. And man, was I glad that I didn't annoy her so much.
That's awesome, man. You know, and it is so cool when God brings those special people into your life like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it was the same kind of thing with me and my wife. I mean, we went from strangers to engaged in 7 months. You know, it was one of those things, you know, when you know, you know, and we knew.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yes, an intense feeling. And I don't know. I've never met somebody, and I'm so glad I never will meet anybody else who I've just so like in tune with. Like that's my person.
Absolutely. At some point in the future, if she'd be interested, I'd love to get her on the show and hear her side of it.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna talk to her. I got big plans for her.
Awesome. So away from wrestling, I mean, obviously a lot of your time is being, you know, taken up being a dad and everything else. But away from all of this, what are some of your hobbies and interests? So what do you like to do with whatever spare time you might have?
Man, that's where I become the most boring person in the world. I spend a lot of time like trying to figure out how to get in the ring, to some kind of degree, or I'm trying to like figure out how I'm gonna watch the next match. I don't know. I think my best man at my wedding, Carly Bravo, when he made his toast, he said that he knew 3 things about me, and that I liked wrestling, working out, and comic books. So I guess comic books and comic book movies would be like my next biggest passion, if you will, outside of wrestling. You know, I think in another life, though, honestly, if I'm being honest, I think in another life, I think I would have been an actor. In high school, I tried to get my major to be in theater, and same thing in college. And it never panned out. It just never seemed like one of those dreams that was actually attainable. After having done this, I don't regret not having chased acting, but I don't know. There's a part of me that's like, I wonder what would have happened if I would have put this same energy towards that. But there is acting incorporated within what we do, so like I guess I get the best of both worlds.
Well, yeah, and you know, there's still time to explore some of that if you feel led at a future point too.
That's true. That's true.
But you know, it's funny. My wife is a relatively new wrestling fan, and not too long ago we were watching something together, and she turned to me and she says, "You know," she says, "these are just really athletic theater kids." And I was like, "Yeah, you're kind of right."
1000%. I remember during COVID, when everything first got shut down. Atlanta was one of the first places to get shut down in the United States. Yep. And I was at the place. So it was myself, Lindsay Snow. I want to say Alan Angel was there, and their promoter of Southern Honor, Gary Lamb. We were all at a Waffle House in Canton, and that one place was the first place to get COVID. Have a COVID outbreak. And we were all there, and we went back to our respective places, and everywhere that we went, everybody was like, "Oh my God, we have to like shut this whole situation down." So once everything got shut down, we didn't know like what we were gonna do with wrestling, because like nobody was wrestling at first. There wasn't an AEW, respectively. They were trying to like build themselves up or make themselves a thing. But I went ahead, me and my friends, Danny Jordan, Ryan Rembrandt, Ravenna Vane, who's doing incredible things right now also. We made these mini movies about my character, the version of my character back then anyway, TheSavior. They're all up on YouTube, unfortunately, because oh my god, you would have thought we were on something. But uh, I realized then that like a lot of what we do, especially a lot of what we can do, could be done behind the chair as far as like promos and as far as like how our matches look and things like that. There's a lot of being a director that goes into what we do too. And I found that out doing those things. So I think in another life, maybe not an actor, but maybe I don't know, film study, because I'm interested in film. So maybe that's a hobby to answer that question.
Absolutely. Something that we've done in all of these that's just been kind of fun, and we'll be getting to this later on, but we have a segment where we let the current guest ask a question for the next guest. And one of my recent guests asked this absolutely killer question. And so I basically, with his permission, I incorporated it into my standard questions because it's just the coolest question in the world. But this wrestler from Northern California by the name of D Rogue said, if your wrestling career could be summed up in a movie, what movie would it be?
Oh man, that is a good question.
Isn't that awesome?
If my wrestling career could be summed up in a movie, what movie would it be? Oh man, that's a loaded question too, huh?
It is.
A loaded question. Oh man, I think, I don't know, man. That's a loaded question, man. I think everybody wants it to be. I think everybody wants their movie to be Rocky, right?
Yeah.
Where the underdog wins it all. At least knowing that he like fought, he won the fight. Maybe not the actual battle, but he won the fight. I don't know, man. That's a loaded question. Man, I okay. Honestly, if I had to think, like right at the top of my head, I don't know, man. That's a loaded question. I had to think about my whole entire career up until now. Okay. I was gonna say $1 Million Baby. I think that's what my mind is going on right now. It's $1 Million Baby.
That works. Yeah. That works. So, they say that the best wrestling personas are usually pretty much yourself turned up to 11. So kind of tell us about in-ring David Ali and kind of compare and contrast him with everyday you.
I think because there's been different levels, I guess, to David Ali. I think anybody from Georgia or anybody who's probably more familiar with me from like AEW, they're probably going to be more familiar with a version of me that was really dark, really nuanced, and that's still a version of me that I am today. I'm just a more complete version of that. I would say that the character has always been a guy who's been fighting the darkness within himself, and that's a lot of characters, but David Ali's always been the guy that's been doing that like out loud. Nowadays, he's more content. He's a grown man. He's evolved. He's grown up. So now he knows how to harness those things and not let those things like control him. And I think that's where I'm at today, as far as like being a more complete wrestler, a more complete man, not only as just a human, but as a father. I feel like haven't learned all the lessons that I need to learn yet. but I feel like that I've been through a lot to make me see that I don't always have to choose the wrong way to get out of a situation, and that's what my character does. He always sees the right way, or the way that causes the least amount of damage. If he has to, he has to. But for the most part, he's always trying to make sure that everybody is able to go home and have that beer together. And
Absolutely.
that's where I'm at emotionally and politically, even today, as a person. So I'm all about making sure that everybody goes home at the end of the day ready to drink that beer together.
Absolutely. And, that is a really incredibly positive thing to strive for, I mean, it really is. And it's a great goal. I mean, it's not, especially in this day and age, it's not always possible, but it's definitely something to be reaching for. You were talking about character work. Somebody that I just want to shout out, simply because I think the character work this guy is doing right now is just so unique and unusual and really incredible. Is Leo Rush? What he's doing right now with the Blackheart gimmick?
Oh yeah.
Man, I mean, I'm interested to see where that's going.
Yeah. Right before he started doing all that, I kind of put away my bat and leather jacket and stuff, and was going like full-fledged on colors and capes. And he started doing that, and I was like, oh man, it kind of makes me want to go back to black for like a little bit, or just have that like in the back pocket. But I don't know. I like evolution, so I like that he's changed from like where he was at to where he's at now, and that I'm able to go from where I was at to where I'm at now.
Absolutely. So tell us about your very first match. What was it like? How did it go? And what were your thoughts about it?
Oh man, my very first match. I had two first matches. So I had a first match to see what it was like under the lights. Hated it. I was Oh my god. I think everybody hates their first match like that, right? And then I had my graduation match against AR Fox, and I pooped the bed. I don't know what the language barrier is on here, but
whatever. I mean,
I completely pooped the bed. I'll keep it PG. But yeah, I did not do well at all. It was one of the only times I had any veteran tell me in the back that's one of the only times they've ever felt dumb. And if you don't hear those things, you don't know how to like fix those things, or how to like make sure you don't do those things ever again. And I pooped the bed so bad that everybody who I started with AC Mack, who went on to become the IWTV world champion, and Austin Theory, who I think he's doing something somewhere. I'm not sure. But
yeah.
Those guys were like, man, I don't know if he's going to be able to be, I don't know if he's going to make it. I don't know if he's going to wrestle. I pooped the bed that bad. And I had to do a lot of digging down, man, a lot of soul searching, I had to go through it, man. And that's what I mean about being like a complete wrestler. Like I've been the guy who's come out and pooped the bed in front of everybody and had them boo you because you suck. Not even getting cheers because they feel bad for you, but boo you because you suck and chant for you to get off the stage. I've been there, and oof, man, let's not go back. How about that?
Absolutely. You were mentioning Austin Theory, man. That kid the sky is the limit for him. You know, he's taken kind of an unusual path through the WWE system, but I feel like he is on the verge of some really big things, and I mean, I see him definitely being a world champion at some point. I mean, he really checks all the boxes.
Yeah, for sure. Unpopular opinion, and I'm only saying this because I've seen it in person, but if they book him as a babyface, he would be a lot more digestible, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I,
I've kind of thought that too. You know, they've never really done that and just went with him as a full blown face. You know, I
he's a
mean, I think.
likable dude. He is
Oh
a
yeah,
likable dude. He's a likable guy, easy to like, and that kind of natural chemistry with people is like, I don't know. To me, I see them forcing him to turn the chemistry off, and it's kind of working, but in a negative way. But you know, man, if they just let him use his natural chemistry, it's crazy. It's just an opinion, though. It's a flavor of ice cream.
no man, you know, I won't argue that point at all. I think that would be interesting for them to try. So we've heard about the first match. Now, if you can narrow it down, tell us about your favorite match that you've been a part of.
My favorite match that I've been a part of. I have to pick one.
You don't necessarily have to pick one. You know, you can just as long as it's not a laundry list, we're good.
Oh man. Okay. Okay. I don't think I have like. I don't think I have a favorite match. I have matches that like I'm proud of for certain reasons because of the challenge, I guess. Um, but I think like off the top of my head, there are two matches. Um, there are two matches that come to mind when I think about like my favorite matches. And I think it's because of the story that was involved in them. And I guess I'll go in order. So there's no an order of time chronologically, not an order of like which one is the best because I can't really choose between these two. But one of them, the first one that happened was at Southern Honor. It was myself versus Owen Knight inside the cage for the Southern Honor Championship with Danny Jordan as the special guest referee. And I don't know, the match, the storytelling within the match from like the commentators, the camera angles, how we were working, even how Danny was working as a referee, like all of it was just like, it was everything just came together. And that's a match that I can watch back and be like, damn, like there's not a lot of times I'll watch a match of mine back and be like, man, that's a good match. Like I'm a fan of that guy, but that one is one that I can say that match is lit. And the other match that I put on par with that for completely different reasons would be myself versus Kylie Ray at Second Wrestling for the second championship. And that's just because I was in I wasn't in Chicago proper. I was in, where was I at? There's like a poster in here somewhere that's got it. I think I was in I was somewhere near Chicago. I think Palatine maybe. And all the Kylie's fans came out, and she's Chicago, so it was like John Cena walking into ECW. Like it was, I got booed the F out of there. It was so bad. But I was the babyface champion, and the whole story was that she didn't think I deserved to be in that spot. She was the heel, the aggressor, and I told her I was gonna make her a babyface essentially again. And I was gonna shake her hand by the end of it. So we had this match where I'm fighting uphill with only like one arm and one foot, and it to me, and we won them at the end of the match, and we got like we got the audience. And to me, that just proved to me that like as long as you work the crowd, you can have the crowd. And people forget about that, and they just want to like go out there and do moves. And I remember talking to her about when we were talking about the match. There's only one thing that I wanted to do, and it was only in the back half for the finish. And that's the only thing I wanted to do because in my mind, that's where the match, that's where the climax was going to be at, and that's where like that's what the match was going to hinge on. And it was only like a couple of I don't want to give it away like too inside baseball, but it was like a couple of sequences. And even she was like, "Oh, that's it? That's all you really want to plan?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's all I really want to do." And she's an amazing worker, obviously. It's Kylie Ray. And we've known each other like our whole careers and never wrestled each other, always been on shows together and stuff. And it was awesome. And I'm super happy for her too. She just had a baby. And yeah, those are the two matches I can think of when I think about like matches that I guess are my favorite.
That is awesome. So, you've been doing this 10 years, so I'm sure over the 10 years, you've probably picked up at least a few of these. But what would you say is your biggest wrestling-related pet peeve?
Like from other wrestlers, or like who is like
well, from other wrestlers, or just about the business itself?
My biggest pet peeve is my biggest pet peeve is, and I don't know if this is like a controllable pet peeve or not, but I feel like bookers these days, they've forgotten how to make talent stars, and they rely too much on already signed stars to bolster their card or bolster their show. And when it comes time to have a show and they can't get any signed talent, they either don't have the show or they freak out, or like, and it doesn't have to be like that. If you create your own stars, like they used to do, then you have somebody for those people to come in and fight and bolster up, and that's just how it's supposed to go. Not, let me bring in this guy and have them fight each other. And meanwhile, the home talent's still on the undercard, still trying to be the pay the dues guy until forever, and that's my biggest pet peeve is not creating stars anymore.
Absolutely. I actually feel like AEW in particular has done a really good job of making new stars. And some of it was by virtue of the fact that they were a brand new promotion and they kind of had to. But, I feel like they have done a good job of mixing older talent with new hungry guys and have really put out a good product over the years.
I would agree. They definitely offer a different alternative to what WWE is doing. There will be times where I feel like I can be hypercritical of the product just because I myself am I'm personally a fan of sports entertainment, and they're trying to get over a more athletic version of wrestling, a more sports-oriented version of wrestling, which is definitely something that I feel like, I don't know if needed is the word, but it's useful to see it in that regard. So I definitely get like what they're doing and how they're trying to do it. The only thing that frustrates me about them is that everybody seems to be in a team. And there's not a lot of solo stars, and that just kind of gives the optics of like, I don't have faith in the solo stars, or I have too many wrestlers, so we got to group them together. And but it's a unique way to make people stand out. But I've never been a billionaire, and I've never been signed, so I don't know if I even need to be making these kinds of observations.
Gotcha. But yeah, that and way too many belts. I mean, Tony Khan goes a little belt happy sometimes, but it is what it is.
I could say the same thing about WWE too, because it's one thing to have the belts, but they have to they have to be featured and they have to be legitimized, and not in a way where it's like the United States champion is in a match to be the WWE Women's Champion, or whichever WWE Women's Champion or WWE United States Champion or WWE Women's United States Champion going for like the women's or the men's respective belts. To me, that's weird because you're already a champion. You should be defending that.
Right. And, it's always struck me weird with WWE that you've got the World Heavyweight Champion and then you've got the undisputed champion. Well, if there's a World Heavyweight Champion, how is this guy undisputed? I mean,
Exactly. Yeah, that's yeah. And yeah, I've always understood the concept of two championships, but the name's got to be like, Universal is not one of them.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I don't even know. I think it was better when it was just the I don't know. I think it could be still confusing when you had the world champion and the WWE champion, but I feel like that's better, But because if you're the champion of the world, does that mean if you're the champion of WWE, are you just the champion of WWE? And if you're the world champion, are you the champion of the entire world and not just WWE?
Yeah, I mean, you can sit there and play semantics with it all night and not really come to any real conclusion. It's just a whole weird thing.
Right.
But
or international and continental.
Yeah. Or North American. I mean that covers a lot of ground. I mean, so
yeah, no.
Yep. So, do you have an all-time favorite match as a fan? Is there a match or matches that are near and dear to your heart that you find yourself circling back to?
There's always one that I think kind of made me realize or see the complete artistry of what it is that wrestling could be. And I kind of hate both people that's in it after time has gone by, but you can't deny the magic of the match, unfortunately. But Rock Hogan at 18, like having to call the audible, in my opinion, was an important move for, I think, young people to realize, because like the audience is what's gonna, at least back in the day, or how you were supposed to be raised in the business, the audience determines if you're over or not, or what you're doing is over or not. And you got to listen to them. They're the guide. And they listen to the audience, and they knew it had to be a certain kind of way, and they played to the strengths of what they were able to do. And that is working, it's such a good match, and they didn't really do anything.
Absolutely. No. But, like you said, it's really a master class in the art of reading the room, and then, like you said, having the courage to call the audible.
Yeah.
and basically completely turn the match on its head.
Right. And I'll say Owen and Brett, that one really shows. I talk about that one a lot, just because lots of people forget that, like, wrestling is still wrestling. It's not like, suplexes and drop kicks all the time, or punches, or like, finishes and stuff like that. There's a technical art that goes into it, that that still needs to be there, because at the end of the day, it is wrestling. It's that first, and they kill it. The brother versus brother is intense. Like, it's wrong.
Yep. A tale as old as time.
Yeah.
I mean,
For sure, 1000%.
Yeah, I mean, Cain and Abel was the first brother versus brother match, and I guess that turned into a death match. But
No holds barred. Disqualifications. What happened?
Yep. So this can be present day or past. Who would be a dream opponent? Who would be somebody that you would love to have the opportunity to share a ring with that you haven't had the chance to as of yet?
Present day or past? Present day or past? Who I haven't, who I'm able to, or who I would want to. Like
who? Well, either. I guess you could do one that you would have the ability to, and one that would just be a dream.
Okay. I think I really want to get in the ring with KJ Orso. The last time I wrestled him, he was Fuego. And
yeah,
I'm not necessarily going to say that's a dream match, but that's the match I've been wanting to have for a while now. So if anybody wants to tell him I'm saying this, you tell him I said, let's go to work. Also, I think dream-wise, this was on my list right before he made it impossible for me to get my hands on him, but I feel like I owe him one just because my first impression I don't think was the best one, but I owe Cody, I owe him one. I plan to do it.
Okay.
I plan to do it at AEW when there were chances to wrestle him in dark matches or even just climbing up the rankings. I hate even saying it out loud because it sounds like some Mark Dweeb shit. Excuse the French. But I need to let him know desperately that I'm not lazy like he probably thinks I am. And there's a story that could be told from that needs to be told at a different time. But yeah, that's why I'm all about going to work, because I'm not a lazy guy and I owe him.
Love it. Love it. So what is your favorite move? What is something you just really enjoy doing? And then on the flip side of that, is there a move that you won't do or you would at least rather not do? And that can be giving or receiving.
I don't typically say no to a lot of things, just because I feel like it's unfair to harsh people, and I'm pretty athletic, and I'm pretty okay at conveying things, right? But so I don't think there's a move that we'll say yet that I won't take. As far as moves that I do like to take, I like to take what's Hammerstone's move called? When you go all the way up and you go all the way down.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. I can't think of the name of it, but
oh my god, I'm just gonna say that so I don't go inside baseball and kill it. But ouch.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That I like to do, that I love doing, butterfly suplex, the top rope elbow. Love doing those. I like doing that step out punch that I like doing. Not a lot of people like being there for me, but I like doing it.
Yep. Nice.
I'll go inside baseball on that. So if somebody hears me and they're like, "Oh, I'm wrestling David all day," I gotta be there for that. Because damn it, French.
Nice. So, you've been doing this 10 years, so I'm sure this applies to one degree or another. So I'll ask you, what hurts right now?
Everything.
Yeah. What doesn't hurt, maybe?
Well, what doesn't hurt? That's a shorter list. No, honestly, I feel really good. I feel like the key to it is staying in the ring. Yeah, I feel really good. I probably feel better than I have in like the last few years or so, and that just comes with learning how to utilize everything properly within the ring, within your workouts, and just within the profession that we do. So I'm feeling really good right now.
That's good to hear. Things could always be worse.
Oh yeah, especially carrying a newborn.
Oh yeah. So, over the 10 years you've been doing this, what is the worst bump you have taken?
Oh man, the worst bump I've taken. There's two I could think of. I know you keep asking for like one answer, and I keep giving you like two or three, but
hey, this is great stuff, man.
So, the first one, I'm wrestling at Scenic City Rumble, and I think it's either Saudi Daisy or Red Bank, it's one of those places, and it's in Tennessee, near Chattanooga. Yeah. And I'm getting eliminated by then Logan Creed, and he's like throwing me like fall away slam, and there's supposed to be a guy to catch me, my legs, and there's supposed to be another guy to catch my head. Homeboy catches my legs, nobody catches my head. I hit the gym floor. Boom! It's real, brother. So I'm trying to tell people it's real. I had a seizure like 2 weeks later.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. And I think so. That one probably is literally the worst one because I didn't have a seizure from this next one. But this one was not fun. I'm wrestling. Michael Judas at Southern Honor for the Southern Honor Championship, and it's a casket match. And he does the Crucifixo, which is like a razor's edge, and he gives me the razor's edge straight into the coffin. Boom, made of wood. Ouch.
No doubt.
I lost that one, as you can.
Yeah. I'm guessing you did. So, knowing everything you know at this point in your life, if you could give any advice to your younger self, what would it be?
Man, when we were coming up in wrestling, and I say that as if I was like 16 or something like that, but I mean that in the sense of like, when I was in my first, second, third year, we were taught originally when you go into certain rooms, like shut up, don't say anything, always like, be listening, speak when spoken to, stiff upper lip type mentality. And like the locker rooms at these shows aren't like that anymore. And I wish I could go back and tell my younger self that and give him the Iggy and let him know. And let them know to be a little more loosen up and a little less, stiff, a little less professional, a little more loose, a little more open. But I don't know. I'm kind of like halfway glad that I wasn't as open back then, because me as an adult now, I understand like social cues and things like that. And I'm not so sure if I would have been on my best behavior, at that age or not. So I guess it worked out for the better, but I think I would have told myself that back then. And I don't know, maybe that would have took some of the pressure off.
Absolutely. So, do you have any pre-show traditions? Any things that you try to do consistently before you walk through the curtain?
Pre-match or like pre-show day, like.
Well, either.
Well, leading up to show day, like I try to eat like right or whatnot. I'm always trying to eat like fat-free things so that way I don't look super bloated when I get to the show. But I think like as far as like pre-match traditions, um, I'm always trying to stay hydrated and caffeinated. So I'm always drinking like electrolyte drink, like a real one that's got like 1,000 milligrams of sodium, and like high potassium type stuff. And they don't have like I'll eat like some kind of protein, but like always like some kind of caffeine or something like that. But like I don't know, I stretch. I always say a prayer. And I always think about you might be familiar with Joe Black from Georgia Wrestling.
Yep.
But anytime we used to wrestle or anytime we'd be on shows together and I go out and have a match, he always hyped me up. And there was always different versions of the hype up. But whenever I go out, I always try to give some version of that of him hyping me up to myself. And I think about that. And that's kind of so there's a lot of things happening. I'm like, and then I get out there and I'm ready to go.
Nice. So tell us a bit about your gear bag. What all do you carry in your gear, and do you carry anything unique or unusual?
I'll tell you what. Why don't you tell me what you think is in my gear bag, and I'll tell you if you're right.
Your gear?
Okay.
Probably some basic hygiene stuff, wrist tape,
Okay.
Maybe merch. Am I right? Am I right so far?
You're right. Yeah. There's always going to be like brushes, like lotion. My wife, she's been getting me this Bath and Body Works because they make stuff for men now. I had no idea. It smells awesome.
Really?
Yeah, it's amazing. And I'm pretty sure the other guys like it or appreciate it as well. But so I've got some lotions in there, tape. I lied. I never have tape. I'm always asking everybody for tape in the locker room. I'm sorry. Maybe I will have tape after this conversation just because it'll be on my mind. But I always have socks, obviously for my boots, knee pads, gear, and I always keep some snacks in there for sure, like light snacks, fat-free snacks, and yeah, that might clear it. Glasses nowadays.
Oh yeah. So we're at the point in the show now where we're going to do the thing where we let the previous guest ask a question for the next guest. And one of my recent guests was a wrestler from out in Texas by the name of Darren Hale. And the question that he posed is, would you wrestle a bear?
I know Darren Hale. Would I wrestle a bear? For how much?
Hot dog and a handshake.
That's not going to work for me, brother. How about that?
Love it. So, since this is part of a series, do you have a question that you would like to ask to our next guest?
Let's see.
What you got?
How often are you training?
That is actually a really good question. You mentioned that you try to get in the ring at least one session a week. Is that pretty standard for you?
As a dad for now,
Yeah.
but I try to get in there like at least twice a week. With everything, with baby and taking care of the wife for now. But I always go for like at least 8 hours too. So I'm always there all day. So I'd always try to make up for the time that I don't get to be there throughout the week.
So during his farewell tour, John Cena kept bringing up the concept of leaving wrestling better than he found it. And that really resonated with me. I just thought, well, what a cool thing to be striving for. So I've sort of incorporated that also into my repertoire of questions. So, you've still got a ways to go in your career, seemingly, but ultimately, how do you hope to leave wrestling better than you found it?
I would love, and I feel like I've said this to a few people before, but I would love for there to be a little more I would love for there to be a little more conversation about booking independent wrestlers who aren't signed, and like just bringing that back.
Yeah.
And other than that, like as far as ways that I think I could leave wrestling better than how I found it, I feel like there's still like a lot of wrestling politics that need to be discussed. As far as like, what's a suitable pay in the regions, and like especially when it comes to like travel, and like when it comes to like where we're staying at, as far as like if we're doing like overnight or having to do like overnight things. There's a lot of nuances that go to like wrestling politics that don't necessarily have to deal with like the politics of like how you're booked on the card. But as far as like how like younger people are concerned, that's another reason why I love being like an assistant coach at Ice Pick, because I get to utilize things that I've learned thus far from all the people that I've been able to get knowledge from, and try to help younger people, put their careers together. Do I have all the answers? No. But what I do know, I'm more than willing to give to you.
Awesome. So we're pretty much at the end of things now. So do you have any upcoming shows or anything at all that you want to give some hype to?
I'm still kind of on a miniature hiatus trying to get my son together. But there is House of Heat that is coming up at the end of August. I believe this August 29th, I believe. I could have that date completely wrong. But I am wrestling, and I'm wrestling for the defending the Intensity title at that show. So I'm going to be posting about it here pretty soon. So everybody take a look at my socials. Please take a look at my socials. Do not take this as how excited I am about the match. I am just a new dad, and I am just I am just bewildered.
You're overwhelmed.
Yes, I am so sorry. As you can see, I haven't shaved. I still got the dad stash, and I'm in the den. So please don't take this as for like how excited I am about the match, because I am. I have the Intensity title. I can't wait to defend it for House of Feed. If I defend this title and I defend it successfully, then I have to defend it 2 more times to become the House of Feed champion, or to get a shot at it at least. So we got big things coming out for us.
Awesome. Well, as far as what we've got coming up on the Throwdown, this Thursday, the 13th, at 7 p.m. Eastern, we've got episode 260, and our guest is Marvelous in Motion, Chris Marvelous. And then on Friday, the 14th, at 7 p.m. Eastern, we've got episode 261, and our guest is a social media-based pro wrestling tribute and parody American bounce fighter. I've seen some of their stuff on socials, and it is actually quite funny. So I'm excited to have them on and to hear their story and find out a little bit more about what they do. So you still with me, Devin?
There.
Yeah, I'm hearing you. I'm hearing you. I'm just not seeing you.
Matt.
Yeah. Hello. Well,
Matt.
Yeah.
Matt.
Yes. I'm hearing you. I'm not seeing you. Okay.
Hey, Matt. I can't hear you.
Yes. How weird. Well, I was actually just going into the conclusion of this. So for those of you that have been watching this live, thank you. For those of you that'll be seeing this on replays and such, thank you for that. If you like what we've got going here, definitely do the old like, comment, share, and subscribe. And until Thursday night with Chris Marvelous,
I can't hear you.
Be good to each other.